See your
Oh,
question there.
oh yeah. So from Pete Jones, my music students
Yeah.
in elementary music don't always feel comfortable sharing their story or music history. How can I make kids feel safe to talk about themselves when white supremacy is in the curriculum?
Okay, there's a few things here. So first, this idea of knowing what the sharing is for. You know, there are some parts of our identity we just don't necessarily want to share depending on where we come from and what our stories are.
Right.
So when kids feel safe to share, that's good. But sometimes there are things they are just not going to want to open up about. So we have to kind of get that out of the way. Just, I'm not assuming that Pete has any level of entitlement, but just like as an educator, you know, it's just like your friend. Like your friend may tell you certain things and your friend may not. But the first thing I feel about is, when white supremacy is in the curriculum, you gotta toss that thing out and start rewriting as much as you can. Um, it depends very much on your district. I was so fortunate to be in a district where I had administrators who were like, I don't know music. I know you're not looking at the curriculum, but I see what you're doing with the students. And, it's valuable and it's productive. Um, that for me is the place to start, is reframing your curriculum as you create relationships with the students. If you are not able to toss out certain things, then you have to find opportunities to subvert and show your students that you are going to make a more inclusive space, but also, being open yourself at like a kid friendly level, right? And building that understanding that the risk that they might feel of opening up and sharing is a risk that you're willing to take as well. But it's really, really long work. And for me, I found it's worked really well for, let's say, I don't know, it's maybe 3 years ago. I said, you know what, music ed tends to teach about the canon, your Bach and your Chopin, Tchaikovsky and stuff. I was like, this year I'm going to aim to have my kids not have any idea that those are the dominant composers in the canon. I'm going to do everything I teach and every figure I bring into the room, to just like completely offset that idea that like there are some standard anything.
Right.
And it worked out really well. And there were just so many things that we were able to dig into that were outside of the norm of the typical music class. And I found more connection points, or I found a student who knew it better than me, so they got to teach it. Or, there was some like segue into a story. And that started to happen, but it was like, it was over a lot of time and a lot of them feeling more comfortable and a lot of them seeing connections to any of their actual lived experiences versus coming in as outsiders learning about like whiteness as the main thing and their stuff on the periphery.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's interesting, and it's tough because it lots of times it can be difficult to get kids to open up. But it's
Just anyway.
once you get through that barrier, it can be so rewarding, for
Yeah.
you as a
Yeah.
teacher and for them as students.